I'm Dr. Brad Ingrao, hearing aids expert for SeniorLiving.Org. In this video, we're going to talk about a few things that you can purchase in addition to your hearing aids to really pump up the value of that purchase. Hearing aids today are better than they've ever been, and I encourage anyone who's struggling to hear and understand to seek evaluation and early treatment. For most people, the primary treatment for hearing loss is going to be hearing aids. And as I said, they're better than ever. However, any hearing aid, even the most expensive ones, are at the mercy of physics and what I call the three primary hearing hazards: distance, reverberation, and background noise. Hearing aids do a fantastic job of helping us capture information, hear those soft sounds of speech, and even separate background noise up to about 8 or 12 feet from the person we're talking to. Once we get beyond that, the very soft sounds of speech that are most important, the high-pitched sounds, are lost in the noise and they lose their ability to reach the hearing aid microphones. It doesn't mean that the hearing aids are bad. It means that physics is working against you. And like Wile E. Coyote running off the cliff and going down the canyon, physics always wins. So how do we take care of that distance problem? Well, the easiest way to do that is to use what I call the capture, carry, couple, or 3 C's system. The first thing we want to do is we want to capture the sound close to the source. Now, if I'm talking to somebody or I'm attending a lecture, I could use a microphone kind of like this. These are called remote microphones. If the person I'm listening to is wearing this microphone very close to their mouth, then I will capture their voice and all of those soft speech frequency sounds in a very optimal way that will not be affected by what else is going on around me. Once I capture the sound, I have to carry it to my hearing aids. That can be done a couple of ways, but the most common way right now is using a wireless technology, either 2.4 gigahertz or Bluetooth LE. And Bluetooth LE is kind of how your AirPods work, right? Or these, Bluetooth headsets that you can walk around your house in. So once we capture and carry the sound, then we have to couple it to our hearing aids. And we can couple it a couple of different ways. If that remote microphone is built by the hearing aid company and designed for your hearing aids, then the carry couple is kind of built into one step, and that signal goes directly into both of your hearing aids so that you can understand really the best possible way. I'm going to give you a little example of this by using this remote microphone that I'm using. If I were to move this farther away, my voice drops down significantly. But when I put it back in the optimal position, now you hear and understand me very, very well. The third part of the coupling system can also work with other types of transmissions. So even though your hearing aid manufacturer will have several of these accessories, there's a universal accessory called the telecoil. And the telecoil has been around since the 1930s. It's a small electromagnetic antenna built into your hearing aids. And if the system that you're using, for example, at a house of worship, has been set up with what's called a hearing loop, that main sound system has a second amplifier, and that amplifier goes to a loop of wire rather than to speakers. When you're sitting inside that loop of wire, everything captured by the microphone of the sound system is delivered to an electromagnetic bubble inside the loop. Once you're in that bubble and you turn on your telecoil, you'll hear as if you're standing right next to the person who is speaking into the microphone. Our friends at the Hearing Loss Association of America have an extensive library of resources about telecoils and hearing loops, including ways for you to find hearing loops in your area. So check that out. Back to the manufacturers. Each manufacturer, in addition to these remote microphones, has accessories for the other big complaint that I get is I don't hear well on the TV. I hear it, but I don't understand it. That comes again from that distance problem. The speaker of the TV is at the TV in most cases. And then you'll say, well, wait a minute, Doc, what about surround sound? I have a surround sound system, but I still don't hear. If you look at a typical surround sound system, the sound bar or the center channel is the front. That's where the speech is. So even though the system is very sophisticated, the physics and the distance make it disadvantageous to you. If the room you watch TV in has a high ceiling or reflective surfaces like hardwood floors or large picture windows, then in addition to the distance problem, you've got reverberation. If you have an open floor plan and there's something going on in the kitchen, now you have background noise. So all three of those hearing hazards make it really hard to understand on the TV. This is where a media streamer comes in. All the major manufacturers make these. They're small boxes that plug into an audio output of your TV. This then sends a signal wirelessly directly to your hearing aids. And what's interesting about this is it doesn't interrupt the speaker of the TV. So if there's people in your family without hearing loss, they can adjust the speaker volume to be comfortable for them. And your volume can be adjusted by your hearing aids. Or if you have a smartphone app, you can actually adjust the mix between the signal coming in and what else is going on around you. This can be very, very helpful if you want to watch TV when somebody else is asleep. Because that signal comes from the audio out and not the speaker, you can literally mute the TV and still hear perfectly well. So those media streamers are available. They're a couple of $100 and they're really a good benefit. They're a good value add to your hearing aids. So I find that the majority of my patients who have mild hearing loss do very well with their hearing aids. Once their hearing loss is a little bit more severe, moderate or moderate to severe, and or they have more complex listening situations, I often recommend a remote microphone, and I then often recommend a media streamer. In my clinical experience, there's very little performance difference in a quiet room between the most expensive hearing aids and those midway down the technology ladder. However, if you take that cost savings and you invest it into some of these accessory technologies like a remote microphone and a media streamer, you'll get a much more value-added package, and overall you'll do better. One final thing about accessories. Standard smoke alarms have a very specific sound that they create, and this is because nearly all of them use a piezoelectric speaker. This generates a sound at 3,100 hertz. There's been lots of research that indicates that if that signal is not 40 decibels louder than your threshold, so if we look at your audiogram, if we go to 3,000 hertz right here, that threshold really needs to be no worse than about 40 decibels for us to feel very confident that one of these standard smoke alarms will be loud enough to wake you up. There are specialized smoke detectors like the Lifetone, which was designed specifically to address this problem, that will create a sound that is much louder and much lower in pitch, so it is more likely to be in your usable range of hearing to wake you up. In addition, it will flash a strobe, and you can even have a small vibrating pad that goes under your pillow. So even though your hearing loss doesn't seem to be that bad, it's important to discuss with your hearing care professional whether that standard smoke detector will really wake you up. And one way for you to know that is if you do a test of your smoke detector without hearing aids and you barely hear it or it seems quite quiet, get yourself a specialized smoke detector, because it's certainly not worth putting your life at risk. So I hope this video was helpful. We here at SeniorLiving.Org want to continue to provide you with content that helps you make good decisions so that you can continue to thrive into your senior years. Look for future videos on more technology, and have a great day.